The warm glow of the cafe's fairy lights reflected off the polished wooden tables, creating a cozy, intimate atmosphere that enveloped Maya Johnson and her friends. The scent of freshly brewed coffee mingled with the faint hint of pastries, adding to the charm of the evening. The downtown Chicago cafe was their usual spot, a haven where laughter and memories were shared. Tonight was special, a celebration of Maya's recent promotion to senior corporate lawyer, a milestone she had worked tirelessly to achieve. Maya, with her dark curls pinned elegantly to one side, raised her glass. Her eyes sparkled with excitement and a touch of disbelief at her achievement. "To us," she declared, her voice brimming with pride and joy. "May we always have each other's backs." Alex Turner, sitting across from her, flashed his trademark charismatic smile. His tailored suit and confident demeanor exuded the success of a tech entrepreneur on the rise. "Absolutely," he said, raising his glass. "We're unstoppable together." Claire Mitchell, ever the empathetic friend, chimed in with a warm smile. "Here's to lifelong friendships," she added, her voice soft yet sincere. Her bohemian style and gentle nature often made her the emotional anchor of the group. Their glasses clinked together, the sound ringing out like a promise. As the night unfolded, stories were exchanged, and laughter echoed around their table. Yet as Maya's gaze wandered, something caught her eye. Alex's phone, lighting up with a message. Normally she wouldn't have given it a second thought, but the name displayed made her heart skip a beat. Rebecca. Maya's curiosity piqued, and with a quick glance to ensure Alex wasn't looking, she read the preview of the message. "Can't wait to see you tonight. Miss you so much." A wave of nausea washed over her. Maya felt the ground shift beneath her feet. She tried to maintain her composure, but her hands trembled slightly as she set down her glass. "Maya, are you okay?" Claire asked, noticing her sudden change in demeanor. "Yeah, just a bit overwhelmed," Maya replied, forcing a smile. Her mind raced, replaying the message over and over. She couldn't shake the feeling that something was terribly wrong. As the evening drew to a close, Maya excused herself, claiming she needed some fresh air. Outside the cafe, the cool night air hit her face, providing a momentary relief from the turmoil brewing inside her. She took a deep breath, her thoughts a whirlwind of confusion and betrayal. "Hey, you okay?" Alex's voice broke through her thoughts. He had followed her outside, concern etched on his face. Maya turned to him, searching his eyes for any sign of the truth. "Alex, can I ask you something?" she began, her voice trembling slightly. "Of course, anything," he said, stepping closer. Maya hesitated, the words heavy on her tongue. "Who's Rebecca?" The question hung in the air between them, heavy with implication. For a split second, she saw a flicker of something in Alex's eyes, guilt, fear. She couldn't quite tell, but it was enough to confirm her suspicions. "She's just a friend," he stammered, his usual confidence faltering. "Why do you ask?" Maya's heart sank. "Just a friend? Alex, I saw the message. Don't lie to me." The facade crumbled. Alex sighed, running a hand through his hair. "It's not what you think, Maya. You're overreacting." "Overreacting?" Maya's voice rose, fueled by hurt and anger. "You've shattered everything we've built. I trusted you." Alex's face hardened. "Look, Maya, it's complicated. I never meant for you to find out like this." Tears welled up in Maya's eyes, but she refused to let them fall. "You never meant for me to find out at all. That's the problem." The night that began with celebration ended in heartbreak. As Maya walked away from Alex, her mind was a storm of emotions. The city lights blurred through her tears, and she felt an overwhelming sense of loss. The world she had known, the trust she had cherished, lay in pieces around her. Maya knew she had to uncover the full truth, no matter how painful. Determined and resolute, she decided to take the first step towards reclaiming her life. She would find out everything, starting with hiring a private investigator. The journey ahead was uncertain, but Maya was ready to face whatever came her way. The sleek modern lines of Alex's high-rise apartment stood in stark contrast to the turmoil brewing inside Maya. She had barely slept since the revelation at the cafe, her mind a relentless loop of questions and doubts. The sun was beginning to set, casting a golden glow over the cityscape as she approached Alex's building. The doorman greeted her with a polite nod, but she barely registered it. Her focus was singular: confront Alex and demand the truth. The elevator ride felt interminable. Each floor that ticked by heightened her anticipation and anger. By the time she reached Alex's floor, her heart was pounding in her chest. She took a deep breath, steeling herself for what was to come, and knocked on his door. Alex opened it almost immediately, his expression a mix of surprise and apprehension. "Maya, what are you doing here?" he asked, his voice strained. Maya pushed past him into the apartment, her movements sharp and determined. The spacious living room with its floor-to-ceiling windows and minimalist decor felt cold and uninviting. She turned to face Alex, her eyes blazing. "We need to talk," she said, her voice trembling slightly but resolute. Alex closed the door, his demeanor shifting from surprise to defensiveness. "All right, let's talk. What's this about?" Maya took a deep breath, trying to keep her emotions in check. "Who is Rebecca, Alex?" she asked, each word deliberate and heavy. Alex's eyes flickered with a brief flash of panic before he masked it with a dismissive shrug. "She's just a friend, Maya. I told you. You are overreacting." "Overreacting?" Maya's voice rose, her frustration boiling over. "I saw the messages, Alex. Can't wait to see you tonight. Miss you so much. That doesn't sound like just a friend to me." Alex sighed, running a hand through his hair. "Look, it's complicated. You don't understand." "Then help me understand," Maya shot back. "Because right now, it feels like everything I believed about you, about us, was a lie." Alex's shoulders slumped, the fight seeming to drain out of him. "Maya, I never wanted you to find out like this. I've made mistakes, okay? Big ones. But it's not as black and white as you think." Maya's anger gave way to a deep, aching hurt. "How could you do this, Alex? How could you betray me like this?" Alex stepped closer, his expression pained. "I didn't mean to hurt you, Maya. I care about you so much, but things just got out of hand." Maya's eyes filled with tears, but she refused to let them fall. Caring about someone doesn't mean lying to them. It doesn't mean betraying their trust. There was a long silence, the weight of their shared history hanging between them. Finally, Maya took a step back, her decision crystallizing in the stillness. "I need the truth, Alex, all of it. And if you can't give me that, I'll find someone who can." Alex looked at her, his expression a mix of guilt and resignation. "What are you saying?" "I'm saying I'm hiring a private investigator," Maya said, her voice steady and firm. "I'm going to find out everything, every lie, every secret." Alex's eyes widened in shock. "Maya, you don't have to do this. Please, let's just talk this out." "It's too late for that," Maya replied, her resolve hardening. "I deserve to know the truth, and I won't stop until I get it." With that, she turned and walked out of the apartment, leaving Alex standing alone in the gathering twilight. The elevator ride down was a blur, her mind racing with a mix of determination and heartbreak. She emerged onto the street, the cool evening air a balm for her fraught nerves. Maya knew exactly who to call. Ethan Clark was known for his discretion and effectiveness, and she needed someone who could uncover the layers of deceit Alex had woven. Pulling out her phone, she dialed Ethan's number. "Clark Investigations," came the gruff voice on the other end. "Ethan, it's Maya Johnson. I need your help," she said, her voice firm but tinged with desperation. "Tell me what's going on," Ethan replied, his tone instantly professional. Maya took a deep breath and began to explain, feeling a sense of grim determination settle over her. She was ready to face whatever truths lay hidden, no matter how painful. The journey ahead would be difficult, but Maya was resolved to uncover the full extent of Alex's betrayal. She had to, for her own peace of mind and for the chance to rebuild her life on a foundation of truth. Ethan Clark's office was a far cry from the sleek modernity of Alex's apartment. Nestled on the second floor of an old brick building in a less glamorous part of town, it had a gritty charm that spoke to countless cases solved and secrets uncovered. The walls were lined with framed newspaper clippings and photographs, each telling a story of its own. Papers and files cluttered his desk, the organized chaos of a mind always at work. Ethan, a rugged man with a weathered face and piercing blue eyes, leaned back in his chair, listening intently to Maya as she recounted the events that had brought her here. His expression was unreadable, but his eyes never left her face, taking in every detail. "So, you want to know everything about this guy," he said finally, his voice low and gravelly. "What exactly are you hoping to find?" Maya, sitting across from him, clasped her hands tightly in her lap. "I need to know the truth, Ethan. All of it. I can't move on without knowing what he's hiding." Ethan nodded, understanding the desperation in her eyes. "All right, I'll start digging. It might take some time, but I'll find out what he's been up to." As he spoke, he opened a new file, jotting down notes and details. "I'll need access to any messages, emails, anything you can give me that might point me in the right direction." Maya handed over a small USB drive. "Everything's on here. I've gone through his phone and computer. I don't know what else to do." Ethan took the drive and gave her a reassuring nod. "You've done the right thing coming here. We'll get to the bottom of this." Over the next few days, Ethan plunged into the investigation, piecing together fragments of Alex's life that Maya had been unaware of. He followed paper trails, scrutinized digital footprints, and conducted discreet surveillance, building a picture of a man who was far from the image he presented to the world. Meanwhile, Maya tried to maintain a semblance of normalcy. She threw herself into her work, hoping it would provide a distraction, but her thoughts kept drifting back to Ethan's investigation and the unsettling possibility of what might be uncovered. Claire, sensing Maya's turmoil, reached out to her. They met at their favorite cafe, the same one where Maya's world had first started to unravel. Claire's warm presence was a balm to Maya's frayed nerves, even as their conversation skirted around the elephant in the room. "Have you heard from Alex?" Claire asked gently, sipping her tea. Maya shook her head. "No, and I'm not sure I want to. Not until I know the truth." Claire reached across the table, giving Maya's hand a comforting squeeze. "You know I'm here for you, right? Whatever happens, we'll get through it together." Maya managed a small smile. "I know, Claire. Thank you." As the days turned into weeks, Ethan's investigation bore fruit. He called Maya to his office, the urgency in his voice unmistakable. When she arrived, he wasted no time in laying out his findings. "Maya, I've uncovered some things you need to see," he said, gesturing to the array of documents and photographs spread across his desk. "Alex has been involved in some shady business dealings, manipulative tactics, embezzlement, and more. This isn't just about infidelity. It's much bigger than that." Maya stared at the evidence, her mind reeling. How could he have hidden this from me? From everyone? Ethan shrugged, his expression grim. "People like Alex are good at hiding their true selves. They wear masks, manipulate those around them, but they always slip up eventually." Maya felt a mix of anger and sadness. "What do I do with this? How do I confront him?" Ethan leaned forward, his gaze intense. "You need to be prepared for whatever comes next. This isn't just about confronting him. It's about protecting yourself and making sure he faces the consequences of his actions." The weight of Ethan's words settled over Maya like a heavy cloak. She knew the path ahead would be fraught with challenges, but she was determined to see it through. She couldn't let Alex's deceit continue unchecked. That evening, Maya sat in her apartment, surrounded by the evidence Ethan had gathered. The city's lights twinkled outside her window, a stark contrast to the darkness she felt inside. As she sifted through the documents, a knock at her door startled her. She opened it to find Claire, her expression a mix of concern and determination. "I thought you might need some company," Claire said, stepping inside. Maya felt a surge of gratitude. "Thank you, Claire. I don't know what I'd do without you." As they sat together, discussing the revelations and what they meant for Maya's next steps, the bond between them grew stronger. Maya knew she wasn't alone in this fight, and that gave her the strength to face whatever came next. Ethan continued his investigation, uncovering more layers to Alex's deception. With each new piece of information, Maya felt a growing resolve. She would confront Alex, armed with the truth, and hold him accountable for his actions. The journey was far from over, but Maya was no longer the woman who had been blindsided by betrayal. She was stronger, more determined, and ready to face the challenges ahead with unwavering resolve. Ethan Clark's office was dimly lit, the glow from the desk lamp casting long shadows across the cluttered room. The scent of aged paper and coffee hung in the air, a testament to countless hours spent unraveling secrets. Ethan sat behind his desk, his rugged features illuminated by the soft light, his expression a mix of concern and determination. Maya entered the office, her heart pounding. The tension in the room was palpable as Ethan gestured for her to sit. She complied, her eyes scanning the array of documents and photographs spread across his desk. Each piece of evidence seemed to pulse with the weight of hidden truths. "Maya," Ethan began, his voice steady but grave. "I've uncovered some things you need to see." He slid a folder across the desk. Maya hesitated, her hand trembling slightly as she opened it. The first page detailed Alex's financial transactions, revealing a pattern of embezzlement and manipulation. "Alex has been involved in some shady business dealings," Ethan explained, leaning forward. "He's been siphoning funds from his own company and laundering money through offshore accounts. Take a look at these transfers. They're routed through shell companies in the Cayman Islands." Maya's eyes widened, disbelief washing over her. "How could he have hidden this from me, from everyone?" Ethan sighed, running a hand through his hair. "People like Alex are good at hiding their true selves. They manipulate those around them, creating facades that are hard to see through. But they always slip up eventually." Maya continued to sift through the documents, each page a new revelation of Alex's deceit. One document detailed how Alex had forged signatures to authorize these transfers. Another showed a series of fake invoices for services never rendered, used to siphon funds from his company. "This isn't just about infidelity," Maya muttered, more to herself than to Ethan. "It's so much bigger than that." Ethan nodded. "Yes, and it's dangerous. If Alex realizes we're onto him, there could be serious consequences. You need to be prepared for whatever comes next." Maya's resolve hardened. She looked up at Ethan, her eyes blazing with determination. "What do we do now?" Ethan leaned back, considering their options. "We need to gather more evidence, enough to ensure that when we confront him, he can't talk his way out of it. But we also need to be careful. If he catches wind of this investigation, he could destroy everything." The gravity of the situation settled over Maya like a heavy cloak. She knew the path ahead would be fraught with challenges, but she was determined to see it through. She couldn't let Alex's deceit continue unchecked. Later that evening, Maya returned to her apartment, her mind still racing from Ethan's revelations. She sat at her dining table, the folder of evidence spread out before her. The city lights twinkled outside her window, a stark contrast to the darkness she felt inside. A knock at the door startled her. She opened it to find Claire, her expression a mix of concern and determination. "I thought you might need some company," Claire said, stepping inside. Maya felt a surge of gratitude. "Thank you, Claire. I don't know what I'd do without you." They sat together, and Maya recounted everything Ethan had discovered. Claire listened intently, her face reflecting the same shock and anger Maya had felt. "This is unbelievable," Claire said, her voice trembling with emotion. "How could Alex do this? How could he betray us like this?" "I don't know," Maya replied, her voice heavy with sadness. "But I'm going to find out. I'm going to make sure he faces the consequences of his actions." Claire reached out, squeezing Maya's hand. "You're not alone in this, Maya. We'll get through it together." As they talked, a plan began to form. Maya knew she couldn't confront Alex alone. She needed to gather more evidence, ensure that when the time came, she would be ready. With Claire by her side and Ethan working tirelessly to uncover the truth, she felt a glimmer of hope. Days turned into weeks as Ethan continued his investigation. Each new piece of evidence added to the growing dossier against Alex. The more they uncovered, the more dangerous and complex the situation became. There were records of bribes to government officials, payments to silence whistleblowers, and even evidence of insider trading. One evening, Ethan called Maya to his office. His voice was tense, urgency lacing his words. When Maya arrived, he wasted no time in showing her the latest findings. "Maya, we've got him," Ethan said, his eyes shining with triumph. "This is the smoking gun." He handed her a stack of documents. Maya's eyes widened as she read through them. They detailed a recent transaction, an attempt by Alex to transfer a large sum of money to an offshore account, a clear act of embezzlement. "This is it," Maya said, her voice a mix of relief and resolve. "This is what we needed." Ethan nodded. "Yes, but we need to act fast. We can't give him any chance to cover his tracks." Maya felt a surge of determination. "Let's do this." The stage was set for the final confrontation. Maya knew it wouldn't be easy, but she was ready. She had the truth on her side, and with Ethan and Claire's support, she felt stronger than ever. That night, as she prepared for the confrontation, Maya reflected on the journey she had taken. She was no longer the woman who had been blindsided by betrayal. She was stronger, more determined, and ready to face whatever came next. The path ahead was uncertain, but she knew she could handle it. She had to, for herself, and for the chance to rebuild her life on a foundation of truth and justice. The sun had dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across Claire's apartment. The normally inviting space felt unusually oppressive, as if the weight of the secrets she was holding had seeped into the walls. Claire paced the length of her living room, her mind racing. She had always prided herself on being the glue that held her friends together, but now she felt as if she were being torn apart. Her phone buzzed on the coffee table, snapping her out of her thoughts. It was a message from Maya. "Can we talk?" Claire took a deep breath and typed a quick reply. "Of course, come over." Minutes later, Maya arrived, her face drawn and tired. Claire ushered her in, guiding her to the couch where they had shared countless conversations. Tonight, however, the air was thick with unspoken words and heavy emotions. "Maya, what's going on?" Claire asked gently, her concern evident in her eyes. Maya sighed, running a hand through her hair. "It's everything, Claire. The lies, the betrayal. I don't know how much more I can take." Claire reached out, taking Maya's hand in hers. "I'm here for you. Whatever you need." Maya looked at her, her eyes glistening with unshed tears. "I know, and that means everything to me, but I need to know. Where do you stand in all of this? With Alex, I mean." Claire's heart sank. She had been dreading this conversation. "Maya, you know I love you both. This whole situation is tearing me apart." Maya nodded, her grip tightening on Claire's hand. "I understand, but I need to know if I can count on you, if you're with me in this." Claire swallowed hard, her mind a whirlwind of conflicting loyalties. "Maya, I've seen the evidence. What Alex did is unforgivable, but he's been my friend for so long. It's hard to just turn my back on him." Maya's eyes filled with a mixture of hope and fear. "I'm not asking you to turn your back on him. I just need to know that you believe in what we're doing, that you believe in me." Claire took a deep breath, her decision crystallizing. "I believe in you, Maya, and I believe that the truth needs to come out. I'll stand by you, no matter what." Maya exhaled, relief washing over her. "Thank you, Claire. That means more than you know." The two friends sat in silence for a moment, the enormity of their situation settling over them. Finally, Claire spoke. "What's the next step?" Maya's expression hardened with determination. "Ethan has enough evidence to confront Alex, but we need to be careful. If Alex suspects anything, he could destroy everything we've built." Claire nodded. "I'll help in any way I can." As they continued to discuss their plan, Claire's mind wandered to her last conversation with Alex. He had been so earnest, so seemingly unaware of the storm that was about to hit. She remembered his voice, filled with confusion and hurt. "Why is Maya doing this to me?" he had asked, his eyes pleading for understanding. Now Claire felt a pang of guilt. She had to betray one friend to support another, and the thought gnawed at her. But deep down, she knew that Maya was right. The truth had to come out, no matter the cost. The next morning, Claire found herself at a crossroads. She had agreed to help Maya, but her loyalty to Alex still tugged at her heart. She decided to visit Alex, hoping to gain some clarity. Alex's apartment was just as she remembered it, sleek, modern, and meticulously clean. He greeted her with a warm smile, but Claire could see the worry in his eyes. "Claire, it's good to see you," Alex said, leading her to the living room. "What's going on? You sounded urgent on the phone." Claire took a deep breath, steeling herself. "Alex, I need to talk to you about Maya." Alex's smile faded, replaced by a look of concern. "What about her? Is she okay?" "She's struggling," Claire began, choosing her words carefully. "She found out about Rebecca and more." Alex's face paled. "Claire, I can explain." "No, Alex, you can't," Claire interrupted, her voice firm but compassionate. "There's more to this than just an affair. Maya hired a private investigator. She knows about your business dealings, the embezzlement, everything." Alex's eyes widened in shock and fear. "What? How did she?" "She's determined to bring the truth to light," Claire continued, her heart aching at the sight of her friend's distress. "And I've decided to help her." Alex stood up, pacing the room. "Claire, you don't understand. This will ruin me. It will ruin everything." Claire felt tears prick at her eyes. "I know, Alex, and I hate that it's come to this, but you have to face the consequences of your actions." Alex stopped pacing, looking at her with desperation. "Please, Claire, there has to be another way." Claire shook her head, her voice breaking. "I wish there was, Alex, but this is the only way to make things right." The silence that followed was deafening. Finally, Alex spoke, his voice hollow. "I never meant for things to get this out of hand. I never wanted to hurt anyone." "I know," Claire said softly, "but it's too late for that now. You need to take responsibility." As she left Alex's apartment, Claire felt the weight of her decision pressing down on her. She had chosen to stand by the truth, to support Maya, but the cost was high. The friendships she had cherished for so long were crumbling, and she could only hope that they would emerge from this stronger. Back at her apartment, Claire called Maya to update her. "I talked to Alex," she said, her voice weary. "He's in shock, but I think he understands what's coming." "Thank you, Claire," Maya replied, her voice filled with gratitude. "I know this isn't easy for you." "It's not," Claire admitted, "but it's the right thing to do. We'll get through this, Maya, together." As the two friends hung up, Claire felt a sense of resolve settle over her. The road ahead would be difficult, filled with emotional and moral challenges, but she knew she was on the right path. With Maya by her side and the truth guiding them, they would face whatever came next with courage and integrity. The tension in the air was palpable as Maya prepared for the confrontation. Ethan Clark's office had become a war room, documents and photographs spread across the desk like a tactical map. The dim light from the desk lamp cast long shadows, adding to the gravity of the situation. Maya stood by the window, staring out at the city that had once felt so vibrant and now seemed shrouded in uncertainty. Ethan entered the room, his expression grim but resolute. "Are you ready?" he asked, his voice low and steady. Maya turned to face him, her eyes reflecting a mixture of fear and determination. "As ready as I'll ever be," she replied, her voice barely above a whisper. Ethan gave her a reassuring nod. "We have everything we need. Just remember, stay calm, and let the evidence speak for itself." Maya nodded, taking a deep breath to steady herself. She knew this confrontation would change everything, but it was a necessary step toward reclaiming her life. The meeting was set at a neutral location, a conference room in a high-rise office building downtown. The sleek modern space felt cold and impersonal. the perfect backdrop for the battle that was about to unfold. Maya arrived early, accompanied by Ethan, who carried a briefcase filled with evidence. They sat in silence, the ticking of the wall clock the only sound in the room. Finally, the door opened, and Alex walked in, his expression a mixture of confusion and defiance. He was followed by his lawyer, a sharp-eyed woman in a tailored suit who exuded confidence. "Maya, what is this all about?" Alex demanded, his voice tense. Maya stood, her heart pounding. "Alex, you know exactly what this is about. It's time for the truth to come out." Alex's lawyer stepped forward, her eyes narrowing. "My client is here under protest. We're not sure what this meeting is intended to achieve." Ethan opened the briefcase, spreading the documents and photographs across the table. "We're here to discuss the evidence of Mr. Turner's embezzlement and fraudulent activities," he said, his tone professional and unyielding. Alex's face paled, his bravado slipping. "This is ridiculous. You have no proof." Maya felt a surge of anger and resolve. "We have more than enough proof, Alex. You've been lying and manipulating for far too long. It's time to face the consequences." Ethan began presenting the evidence methodically, each piece building on the last. Financial records, emails, and photographs painted a damning picture of Alex's activities. As the presentation continued, Alex's lawyer grew increasingly agitated, her confidence waning. "This is all circumstantial," she said, her voice shaking slightly. "You can't prove intent." Ethan smiled grimly. "We can, and we will. There are witnesses ready to testify, and more evidence will surface as the investigation continues." Alex's mask of confidence crumbled completely. "Maya, please, we can work this out. Don't do this." Maya's eyes were cold and resolute. "You did this to yourself, Alex. I trusted you, and you betrayed me. This isn't just about me. It's about everyone you've hurt." The room fell silent, the weight of the truth hanging heavy in the air. Finally, Alex's lawyer spoke, her voice subdued. "We need to discuss our options." Ethan gathered the evidence, placing it back in the briefcase. "We'll give you some time to consider your position. But make no mistake, this will go public if necessary." As Alex and his lawyer left the room, Maya felt a sense of relief mixed with sorrow. She had confronted Alex, exposed his lies, but the cost was high. The man she had once considered a friend was now a shadow of his former self, brought down by his own actions. Ethan placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "You did the right thing, Maya. This was never going to be easy, but now you can start to heal." Maya nodded, grateful for his support. "Thank you, Ethan. I couldn't have done this without you." Back at her apartment that evening, Maya sat with Claire, recounting the confrontation. Claire listened intently, her eyes wide with empathy and concern. "I can't believe it's finally over," Maya said, her voice tinged with exhaustion. Claire reached out, squeezing her hand. "You were incredibly brave, Maya. I'm so proud of you." Maya managed a small smile. "I couldn't have done it without you and Ethan. I feel like a weight has been lifted, but there's still so much to process." Claire nodded. "Take it one day at a time. You've already come so far." As the evening wore on, the two friends talked and reminisced, their bond stronger than ever. Maya knew the road ahead would be challenging, but she also knew she had the support of those who truly cared about her. The confrontation had been a turning point, a moment of reckoning that would pave the way for healing and renewal. Maya felt a sense of peace for the first time in weeks. She had faced the darkness and emerged stronger, ready to rebuild her life on a foundation of truth and integrity. After the confrontation, Alex and his lawyer took a week to decide their course of action. Realizing the gravity of the evidence against him, Alex opted for a plea deal to mitigate his sentence. He resigned from his company, publicly admitting to his wrongdoings. The media frenzy was intense, but it marked the beginning of a new chapter for everyone involved. The early morning sun cast a gentle glow over the city of Chicago, its rays filtering through the leaves of the trees in the park where Maya and Claire sat. The air was crisp and cool, a promise of autumn in the breeze. The park, usually bustling with activity, was quiet this morning, offering a peaceful respite from the whirlwind of events that had consumed their lives. Maya took a deep breath, the fresh air filling her lungs and grounding her. She turned to Claire, who sat beside her on the wooden bench, sipping a cup of coffee. The two friends had come here to reflect and to find a moment of tranquility amidst the chaos. "Feels different, doesn't it?" Maya said, her voice soft and contemplative. Claire nodded, her eyes scanning the serene landscape. "It does. Like the calm after a storm." Maya smiled faintly. "I think we're finally starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel. Confronting Alex was hard, but necessary. Now we can focus on moving forward." Claire placed her hand over Maya's, giving it a reassuring squeeze. "You were incredibly brave, Maya. Facing him like that took so much strength." Maya looked down, a hint of sadness in her eyes. "It's still hard to believe. Part of me wanted to forgive him, to find some way to make it all go away, but I knew I couldn't. Not after everything he's done." Claire nodded, her expression thoughtful. "Forgiveness is a journey, Maya. It's not something that happens overnight. But you've taken the first step, and that's what matters." Maya's eyes welled up with tears, but she quickly blinked them away. "I couldn't have done it without you and Ethan. Your support meant the world to me." Claire smiled warmly. "We're a team, remember? We stick together no matter what." The two friends sat in comfortable silence for a while, the sounds of the park creating a soothing backdrop. Birds chirped in the trees, and a gentle breeze rustled the leaves, carrying with it a sense of renewal. Later that day, Maya visited Ethan's office to tie up loose ends. The atmosphere was markedly different from the tense, strategy-laden meetings they'd had before. Ethan greeted her with a warm smile, his eyes reflecting genuine pride. "Maya, it's good to see you," he said, motioning for her to sit. "How are you holding up?" Maya took a seat, feeling a sense of calm she hadn't experienced in a long time. "I'm doing better, Ethan, thanks to you." Ethan nodded. "You've come a long way. It's been an honor to help you through this." Maya smiled appreciatively. "I couldn't have done it without your guidance and support. I just wanted to thank you for everything." Ethan leaned back in his chair, a thoughtful expression on his face. "You have a strength within you, Maya. Never forget that. This experience has tested you in ways you couldn't have imagined, but you came out stronger. Now it's time to focus on rebuilding your life." Maya's eyes shone with determination. "That's exactly what I plan to do. I want to move forward, to put this behind me, and start anew." Ethan smiled. "You will, Maya, and if you ever need anything, you know where to find me." Leaving Ethan's office, Maya felt a renewed sense of purpose. She walked through the bustling streets of Chicago, the city now feeling less like a battlefield and more like a place of endless possibilities. Back at her apartment, Maya began to piece her life back together. She took down the remnants of her past with Alex, replacing them with symbols of her new beginning. Photos of friends and family, inspiring quotes and mementos of her achievements filled her space, turning it into a sanctuary of hope and resilience. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a golden glow across the city, Maya and Claire decided to meet at their favorite cafe. The place was bustling with life, the familiar scent of coffee and pastries enveloping them as they entered. They found a cozy corner, and as they settled in, Maya felt a sense of peace wash over her. The cafe, once a place of betrayal, had now become a symbol of her strength and resilience. "To new beginnings," Maya said, raising her cup. Claire clinked her cup against Maya's, her eyes shining with pride. "To new beginnings, and to the incredible journey that brought us here." They sipped their coffee, the warmth spreading through them, blending with the comfort of their friendship. Maya knew that the road ahead would have its challenges, but she also knew she wasn't alone. With Claire and the support of her loved ones, she was ready to embrace whatever the future held. As they sat there, talking and laughing, the world outside continued to move, but for Maya, time seemed to stand still. She had faced the darkness and emerged into the light, stronger and more determined than ever. Maya looked around the cafe. her heart swelling with gratitude. She had found her way through the storm, and now, with the support of her friends and the lessons she had learned, she was ready to move forward, to build a future defined by truth, integrity, and the unbreakable bonds of friendship.